Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Right Winging It, where common sense is still common and we don't do trigger warnings. You know how I always call Joe Rogan the cultural litmus test? The guy's like a barometer for what the average American dude is thinking, where he leans. You can usually guess where the crowd's heading. Well, maybe it's time we add Snoop Dogg to that list. Yeah, that's Snoop Dogg. Apparently, he's been on his own little ideological road trip lately. Now, let's not forget, this is the same guy who was perfectly happy to ride shotgun with the Orange Man Bad clown car back when it was fashionable. He parroted the left-wing talking points like a hype man at a DNC rally. But funny thing about reality, it has a way of sobering you up quicker than a bad blunt. Because now we've got Snoop DJing at a Trump victory party. You heard that right. The guy who once rapped about smoking weed every day is now spinning tracks while liberals cry into their soy lattes. So yeah, maybe the culture shift is even bigger than Rogan. When you've got Snoop Dogg sliding off the Democrat plantation, you know the winds are changing. So Snoop Dogg went from full-blown Trump derangement syndrome, foaming headlines, cable news hysteria, the whole bit, to actually showing up at a Trump victory party. That alone should have been enough to make the professional outrage crowd choke on their lattes. But now we've got another gem from the 90s rapper himself. Snoop just said what millions of parents have been pointing out for years. Kids don't need adult politics slipped into their cartoons. And with that one comment, he poked a hole straight through the balloon. The cultural gatekeepers have been floating. Predictably, the reaction is the same old broken record: homophobe, transphobe, bigot. It's always the same tired buzzwords deployed like clockwork anytime someone dares step out of line. But here's the thing. Looks like this dog is off the leash. He's not parroting the script anymore. And when even Hollywood celebrities start sounding like the parents at your local school board meeting, you know the cultural tide is shifting. So let's roll the tape, because this take isn't just bouncing around the internet. It's rattling the little bubble the activist class hides in.
Starting to see, what was the movie with Buzz Light?
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz. The Lightyear. I think it's called Lightyear.
Yeah, with Keke Palmer's in that movie.
Okay.
She plays like the daughter. So we watching it, and the lady, which is Keke's mama, they move on into the space years. They move down the line. They're like, man, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, I didn't come in for this. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. Hey, man, watch the movie. They just said she had a baby. They both women's. How did she have a baby? Shh. The movie ain't over with. So it's like, I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer.
So apparently you can't even sit down with your grandkid to watch a Disney cartoon anymore without getting hit with a surprise lecture. Snoop Dogg found that out the hard way while watching Lightyear with his grandson. The kid asked the most obvious, innocent question in the world: how can two women have a baby? And Snoop's sitting there blindsided thinking, I came for Buzz Lightyear, not a culture seminar. And of course, normal people get it. But the activist crowd, rational, they are not. Instead, they instantly crank up the outrage machine and smear him with the usual labels: homophobe, bigot, you name it, E9. Here's the truth. Nothing Snoop said was hateful, and nothing was based on fear. What it was a grandfather pointing out that maybe, just maybe, adult themes don't belong in a children's cartoon. The critics miss the point here. It's not about fear. It's about why corporations keep slipping these topics into kids' content in the first place. Why does a 6-year-old have to be dragged into adult debates when all they wanted was to watch a space adventure? To infinity and beyond shouldn't suddenly mean to infinity checklists and beyond. And it's not just about that one movie scene. It's part of a larger pattern. We've all seen the numbers. Gen Z now identifies in certain categories at 5 times the rate of boomers. That's not genetics, folks. That's trend-driven culture. What we're watching now looks a lot like the emo phase of the early 2000s, except instead of eyeliner and spiky belts, it's kids being steered towards serious life-altering decisions. That's not growth, that's pressure. And here's the kicker: pointing that out doesn't make you a villain. Parents raising concerns aren't scared. They're protective. There's a big difference. We don't let companies market alcohol, cigarettes, or gambling to kids because we all know they're impressionable. Yet somehow it's totally fine to weave politics into cartoons. That's not normal. Kids deserve age-appropriate content and a chance to grow up without being fed adult agendas. That's why Snoop's comments landed so hard. He's not MAGA. He's not some conservative firebrand. He's a mainstream Hollywood guy. And even he's saying enough is enough. That tells you the cultural tide is shifting. Parents, grandparents, and yes, even celebrities are starting to say what a lot of regular people already feel. The constant cultural lecturing is wearing thin, and when even pop culture icons stop playing along, you know something is changing. At the end of the day, all Snoop said is what most parents already believe. Kids should be allowed to be kids. Let them figure things out naturally. Stop loading every cartoon with agendas. Stop pretending this is about representation when it's really about influence. People see it. The tide is turning. And the louder the outrage gets, the more obvious it is that the grip is slipping. Anyway, folks, that's the deal. That's why this story matters. And if you agree that common sense needs to make a comeback, do me a favor, hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more coming your way, so stay tuned.